One of the top most requested videos that we are getting is show us how to color correct. So before we start color correcting within editing software, I'm going to talk about color correcting in camera. I cannot emphasize this enough, but it's far more important to shoot the image how you want it on your camera instead of hoping that once you take it to your computer, you're going to be able to fix that. So generally speaking, whenever I can, I try and shoot the image in camera exactly how I want to do it or how I want to look, because it will look far better that way than trying to make magic happen later. So whenever I approach a shoot, I always have the vision of how I want it to look, so I make those settings in my camera. Now, Canon DSLR cameras, they actually have a picture style setting. In that setting, you can actually set how you want your image to look. You can use sharpness, saturation, color tone, several different elements, 4 different elements actually, 4 different settings that you can actually control in camera to get a distinct or unique look to your image. So when I was first starting out doing the whole YouTube scene, I didn't even know how to color correct on the computer, so I had to do everything in camera. I had no choice. And I was doing YouTube videos at least every other week, if not more than that. So if I'm gonna have a quick turnaround, I didn't really even have full time as far as a one-man team to be color correcting anyways on a computer, so I had to do it in camera. So I researched a ton as far as I love my image to look larger than life. I like it to look more colorful than it probably normally would be. So after kind of doing that research, and then the other thing I wanted it to be is I wanted it to also kind of look like film the best it could with it being digital. So after researching on my own, I found out that the best picture style, and this is my personal preference, so you will have your own opinion if you have an opinion on the subject matter. This is my personal preference. Any video that you've seen on our channel that was shot with a DSLR, especially for our main channel, this is the exact picture style that we are using on every video, so we don't have to color correct like crazy on the image. So the picture style that we are using is this. Ready to write this down? I'll have it pop up right here. But it's 0, -1, +1, +1. Just like that. So different cameras are going to be different. Right here, Canon 5D Mark II. I literally turn on my camera right here. I have an option for picture style. So I literally just push that. Find out on your Canon DSLR camera where your picture style is. It's different for different cameras, different ways to get in there. And you have different options such as standard, portrait, landscape, neutral, faithful, monochrome, which is like black and white. So on any Canon DSLR camera, as far as I'm concerned, you can control the picture style, and you can have up to 3 different user preferences as far as preference styles. So right here, picture style, and I'm gonna click info, and I can literally change my picture style right here. So right here, I move it all the time, everything that we're shooting, to 0 for sharpness, for contrast, 0, -1, and then for saturation, it's always +1, and for color tone, +1 as well. That is the picture style that we're using for everything that we're doing. So some of you might be asking, well, why are you shooting your sharpness? Why are you lowering your sharpness? Because don't we want everything sharp? You do want a sharp image, but what I found out is digital is so sharp that sometimes it doesn't look real. Because in real life, things are also blurry as well, such as the background right now. So I didn't want it to be perfectly sharp, but I wanted to look like film. So after researching on my own, I found out that actually having your sharpness at 0 is a really good kind of in between as far as making it look like film. Now, as far as contrast, I lowered it a little bit just because I didn't want it to be over the top in contrast. And then as far as saturation and color tone, I like things a little bit more colorful than real life, so that's kind of how our videos look. That's the reason why it looks a little bit more colorful than normal. People are always asking, how do you get your colors so vibrant? Well, it's because we do everything in camera when we can. So once again, 0, -1, +1, +1 in that order. That's the picture style that we are using on all of our videos. Now, if you want to color correct and have the most information to color correct, people will always say, and even I'll say this, you want to shoot at the flattest image possible. So neutral is a really good option as far as if you're just going to go with what the camera has set. That's going to give it where it's not going to be super saturated, but it's going to give you a flat image where later on you can color correct it and get the most out of it. Now the problem with shooting things at neutral, on the opposite side of that spectrum, yes, you have more information to color correct, but you're not always going to be able to get the look you wanted in camera. Now when I was in Kauai a couple years back, I was shooting everything on a 5D Mark II. This is actually not just a couple years back, this is like 4 years back. I wanted to test this out as far as not always shooting everything in my own picture style. So I go to a couple different locations and I'd actually shoot it in my personal preference, the one I just explained, 0, -1, +1, +1. And then I also shot it at a flat space or flat picture style, neutral, and I wanted to kind of see the differences as far as if I'd have more information once I went to editing as far as an Adobe Premiere Creative Cloud. So I threw that image into that program, to that software, and I wasn't able to make it look how I wanted to as far as a little bit more saturated and more of that film look, and it was because I didn't do it in camera. So whenever I can, I try and do everything in camera. I cannot stress that enough. Very soon we're going to be covering how to color correct with editing software, but I thought it was far more important to start color correcting now in camera so you didn't have to go through all the hassle trying to make it how you wanted to within the editing software. So once again, they even teach us in film school, try and do as much as you can in camera. Now also with that being said, another great example is when I was in Hawaii, we were filming a gigantic water slide video, and while I was there I was like, this is an awesome location, but I want this video to be a little bit more stylized. So for that video I actually cranked up my color, my tone to the max just so the colors wouldn't look a little bit abnormal, just because I wanted to look a little bit more dramatic. That was all done in camera. Nothing was done color correcting wise in software. So just know ahead of time how you want your image to look and do whatever you can to do it in camera whenever you can. Okay, so there you have it. Once again, this is a picture style that I use. I absolutely love it. It's been huge for my career. It's been huge for getting the image that I want to. There's definitely, once again, pros and cons to that though, as far as not necessarily having the full control that you may want while you're editing it later on, but that is that. And sorry if I've been rambling. There's a lot of information here that I wanted to share. So there you have it. Thanks so much for watching. Over and out. Yeah, wham, bam, super tramp. And I tipping up my hat while I boost the fans. And I hover up top, can you feel the noise? All the girls scream now cause they want the boys. Yo, making all the clouds looking like a big joke. When I run so fast and I sing so low. And you never wanna mess with me, you're just dissing me. I just set me free, so just stop.